that the Xayah at least win that matchup should probably be fine.
See Ash coming in here for double lift. Has actually been very successful on this champion during the tournament. You see right now some of that early warding we mentioned. They actually do spot Ivan on the way. Bjergsen is hovering to the top side, and a lot of praise to TSM in the early vision.
All right, Rune Prison comes out. Trigger Seed flashed away from. Not done yet! Bjergsen gives up first blood to Exile!
That was not supposed to happen.
Help out with the defense, but Bio is on the bottom side, so it's not going to be the case here.
All right, Hornser gets knocked up into the air. Sven Skeren's around for support. Hilly's busy tanking. Great barrel from Vizicachi, but the damage is coming down from Samix. He tanks the tower. Taste of Fear comes out. Sven Skeren gets it back.
Samix takes it up. Here comes an arrow towards mid lane, though.
Manages to connect. How much damage does Sven Bjergsen have? Exile's going to get shut down. Winter's Bite comes out, and Bjergsen takes down Exile.
Double lift! Are you kidding? Look. Pushing down this turret. They do have Daisy, so it's very easy, and they engage.
Well, Flash engage comes out with the quickness. Daisy helping out. Double of Flash and heal. Nobody's dead yet. Now Sven Skeren gets the first. Shuts down Hylissang. That's a double. Looking for the triple as Samix uses the Featherstorm for time. Exile taste their fear as Sven Skeren gets a third.
Unicorns of Love just not respecting teleports here. TSM
yesterday, and they're going for the blue invade.
All right, Xerxes manages to tag blue buff. Smites it down. Xerxes gets caught by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and Exile's here to fight. 4 members of Team Solomid making their way down. Interrupt on the Realm Warp means Exile cannot escape. That's a first for double lift. The rest of TSM continue to chase. Somehow Hornser's gone down in the bottom lane. Now we continue in the top. Double lift gets tagged. Going to be under threat as double lift fires the ECA. This is going to catch Vizicachi. He's stunned up, and Bjergsen is on a killing spree.
TSM, they send the squad down to...
We're surprised. We'll continue that discussion in a moment. The quickness comes out as immediately does a redemption. Hylissang forced to run for his life. The tower is already killed, but Sven Skeren's looking for more. He's 4-0-4. UOL champion fighters not found. Featherstorm comes down. Blade Caller backwards will at least slow TSM's advance. Vizicachi doesn't have access to the explosive cast, and Hilly's forced to run for his life. Vizicachi's on the front line, but you can't fight all of TSM. Bjergsen's on a rampage. Sven Skeren kills Daisy, and TSM get the...
And I think that the vision leads to taking wrong fights, though, so they can't...
I mean, they're diving a tower.
Yeah. The TSM saw them coming. Right now, they're not diving anything.
No, they're not. The blast code still doesn't save Hylissang. He manages to jump away.
Ooh.
The realm.
Well, Exile is there with him. Really hard to walk in the front door, though, when the enemy team is already on the Baron, and Xerxes just steps away. TSM.
The stats team buzz me and informed me that Samix purchased his 6th control ward for all of Rift Rival.
Well, sure, they're fighting.
They are indeed. This Biofrost is standing on the front line, does not care, even though there's a good knock back onto double lift. He just walks to safety, didn't even need to flash. The 5th kill for Bjergsen, so easily secured. Plucks Hylissang out from under the tower.
Well, they still didn't get that inhib turret down, so Unicorns are trying to defend, at least, in that mid lane.
There's a brush on it. How do you attack that?
No, they're getting it now.
Talk about optimism as Exile's going to try get away. Tries to get back into his realm. Warp cannot do either. Hornser picks up his first kill of the game.
Yeah, but they still didn't get 3 inhibs.
They didn't get 3. The only member...
I don't think anyone's going to get 3 inhibs this game. It might just be...
It might be over. The only member of TSM to not
Suddenly backfires, double lift gets a few kills. We see Bjergsen start taking over the game, and now we also see Jachi dying.
All right, Realm Warp finishes, and 55,000 to 39,500, and yes, Sven Skeren gets tagged and chunked, and he's able to flash away to safety. Enchanted Crystal Arrow hits the most important target in the fight, Samix. While that happens, Exile's chunked down. Daisy gets a knock-up, though, at least, and this could be some kills back. Shut down onto double lift. Inhibitor tower goes down as Sven Skeren gets a couple of hits. Remember, they haven't got 3 inhibs yet.
Exactly.
As TSM are thwarted on this siege.
I mean, the fact they actually walked down there. Oh, Bjergsen.
All right, Bjergsen's going to find at least 1 onto Samix. Hilly and Xerxes trying to run them down.
There's no damage there, though.
There's no one to kill anyone. Biofrost and Bjergsen turn it back around. Hit him with a chair. Hylissang is going to dash away to safety. And Shachi's being run down. Hornser manages to get a hop, get the hyper, get the speed boost and a boomerang. This Hilly goes down in the background. That weird sounding pin was making noises again as TSM are just padding their stats.
Keep running, Chachi. Get all the plants as well.
I saw the
Take
video.
them away from them.
I saw the video yesterday. TSM were not dancing under the nexus of G2. They were waiting for Trick to kill Biofrost. Now it's the other way around. TSM are waiting to kill as many UOL members as possible.
He died in the end.
That flash.
That flash. TSM will get their second inhib.
Or what
Will
you're
they?
telling me.
I'm glad you tried.
All right, well, here comes that number 2 as far as the inhibitor kills for TSM you are looking for. I think they can just stick around inside the base, pick up number 3. If you stay around long enough with these extra minions, you'll eventually be able to, claim those Nexus turrets by sheer force.
Well, Exile gets tagged by the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Hornser gets a very good knockback. Biofrost gets his first kill of the game, but Samix shuts down Hornser. It's a 1-for-2 so far. Samix and Exile still alive, running for their life. Correction, Samix and Hilly still alive. And they managed to get the root down onto Bjergsen. Not a lot of follow-up. Featherstorm goes out. Blade Caller, I think, is still on cooldown. Svenskeren and the rest of TSM dash in forward. Samix stays alive a few seconds longer. Xerxes' shields are burned through. The double lane is down. Xerxes runs for his life. TSM diving under the tower. Ace the Unicorns. Destroy the Nexus turrets. And while they did not get 3 inhibitors, TSM dominate Unicorns in game number 1.
Yeah, and this game was just decided at these 2 tower dives where Unicorns of Love went aggressive. They got punished by TSM. Great reactions from TSM, obviously. Had the
Acquired here because they do have, Jin, long-range engage possibilities. Tom Kench has the possibility with the mid-game Abyssal Voyage. So the bottom lane, which was the area UOL, think that they were worried about someone there. That signals they're definitely going for the dive.
Hylissang is still only level 1. The cannon minion goes down. Death sentence! Finds Samix! Devour buys a few seconds of time for Vizichachi to arrive. First blood is available. Picked up by Svenskeren. Hornser, rather, makes it a double kill. Now he turns his attention.
Look at this dive. Remember, he has no flash.
Barrel into the tower. Gnar has already been used. Svenskeren, well, Shockwave gets connected as well. An easy kill for Bjergsen.
And it's just so many small steps in favor of TSM, and there was just lack of synergy between him and the laners. Around mid lane, we might see a fight. Unicorns on the way.
Abyssal Voyage will start to channel. Deadly Flourish comes out. Ash Arrow tags onto Samix. Svenskeren's looking for a catfish to eat. Hornser picks up his 3rd kill of the game. Vizichachi completed the teleport. Now he's in trouble. Barrel comes out as well. It's Sven that picks up the kill.
And if you're Exile right there, just take the elf. He actually just ended up killing his own support, who was ready to save him.
All right, now all of a sudden Bjergsen's the target. Exhaust is on. He sidestepped a couple of the shots. One of them at least. The 4th and final connects, but the Shockwave dissuades Exile and Xerxes. Samix, no, Xerxes in trouble. Svenskeren's got 1. Samix finally rejoins the fight, and it's just another for TSM.
This is an absolute smashing, my friend.
Sorry, hold that thought. Hold that thought. Samix and Bio. AD carry versus support. The Lantern comes out. Here comes double lift.
Flash
Exhaust is on. Death sentence finds Samix, and Svenskeren is on a killing spree.
Optimal rift. Oh, never mind. Mid lane.
Let's fight.
Okay, Abyssal Voyage comes out. Where's the target? UOL don't even know. Vizichachi. Starting to charge jab. Xerxes goes over the wall and is forced to run away. Bjergsen goes down to Exile. Barrel comes out from Hornser, and at least UOL get their first kill.
They're not really being pushed.
Well, that's the truth. Hornser is going to be under pressure. Abyssal Voyage will deliver Exile and Xerxes. Barrel comes out. Xerxes knocked forward. The root from the Deadly Flourish. Hornser's chunked down to 300, 200, 100. Dead! Exile gets his 2nd of the game. The rest of TSM has split the map.
Back for that bottom. Oh, they might just dive it here. He cancels the recall.
All right, Vizichachi's very far away! 3-man Shockwave! Death sentence as well! Samix is inside Hilly's belly, and Hornser with a fantastic barrel. Svenskeren's got the flash available, might just need it. Exile's on a killing spree, his 3rd of the game. Here comes Vizichachi, boomerang onto Bio, and the tower's helping out. Tower's now aggroed. Mega Gnar flashed away from, but you can't get away from the wallet. There it goes! Xerxes kills double.
Failed dive from TSM, and you cautioned against it, Deficio. Getting lackadaisical in the mid game. TSM do give over a sizable amount of money. Not done yet. Vizichachi on the chase.
Death sentence, but there's no damage to follow up. Here comes Exile. He's looking for Bjergsen. Bjergsen's looking for Chachi. The attack in the distance not enough. Exile's on a rampage. He hits Bio with a big one. Death sentence comes out, but there's no tower to run to. 5 kills, Exile.
And Baron, they're coming back. They can do Baron as well.
Svenskeren is on his way as the man to try and save this here for TSM. Exile over the wall, 5 members alive for Unicorns of Love. They need a ward behind here to see Svenskeren. They placed it just now.
Nice.
This is going close. Svenskeren's got the Sonic Wave. He goes in. Team Solomid steal the Baron.
And he gets out with a kill on Exile as well.
Most important carries in this game. Now they're kind of overextended mid lane though.
Bum, 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 bum. Hilly's going to get away from the death sentence, but he can't get away from the death squad. 5 members of Team Solomid collapsing down, and Hilly's gone.
Plus, the next strike is infernal, much better at snowballing.
No Mega now right now. We have to see potential engage.
Not yet. Honsa, where's the barrel? Tongue Lash comes out from Hylissang. The barrel actually kind of whiffs, doesn't find the targets as UOL are able to spread out. They've also all got their flashes. I say that as Visit Chachi uses his. Curtains are called, and Honsa gets tagged with 2.
And Chachi's not in a good position.
Crowd control ability.
Well, let's see if Visit Chachi can find it. Ash Arrow's going to be available in just a little while. That cooldown ticking away. TSM keep getting that chip damage onto the inhibitor. Shockwave whiffs. Doesn't find a target. There's no flash for the engage. Visit Chachi manages to get that crunch over the minion. All right, Deadly Flourish comes out. Honsa's on the front line. Xerxes already down. Svenskeren comes in, got the Dragon's Rage available to him, and despite Samux being untouched, Svenskeren manages to get the ward hot, but it's a boot backwards, and the inhibitor and a kill. TSM will be happy. Unicorns unable to do anything. Oh, Exile actually misses that shot, but he's got a package. Gonna need that one to escape.
Oh, wrong way.
Does it the opposite direction. You can actually see on the minimap.
So hard, his head turned around and his mouse went backwards.
TSM, they're going to mid lane now.
Hey, I like that one.
That was good.
That was good. Kicked him so hard he saw the curvature of the earth.
There you go.
That's Scott Pilgrim quote. Team Solomid 5v4. Don't even need Baron. Visit Chachi gets devoured, but he's in Mini Gnar, about to pop Mega Gnar. No flash for the engage. Hilly gets bopped sideways by Honsa, and Team Solomid, they decide to engage. Mega Gnar comes out, doesn't find really the stuns that they wanted. Inhibitor number 2 falls, but it's not 3 inhibitors.
Damn.
A 2-man flay and the death sentence onto Samux. Double lift with a double kill. Team Solomid at 29 minutes want to beat their Game 1 record. Nexus turret number 1 goes down. Exile is forced away. So much damage. Double lift finds the ace. The triple to close out the game as the Nexus turrets fall. Team Solomid go 2-0 up in the Rift Rivals finals.
Dominating Unicorns of Love. I think
Both benefit Warwick, and I think he'll be pretty happy with that one.
this time around Unicorns did not ban the caster in, so TSM did not take the LeBlanc from them.
And
remember last game, they were down 30 CS by 5 minutes. Engage goes in, Biofrost is caught out, flashes may be needed, already used, somebody heal! First blood picked up by Hylissang. Double Lift's trying to turn around, Samux.
Double lift bottom lane right now. Might get caught out.
Sven is coming down the river, though. They have to be careful. Biofrost does get caught.
A lot of damage already down. Samux and Hilly trying to shut him down. They will get the first kill of the fight before Samux is shut down. Svenskeren manages to leap forward, and Hilly throws down the flash. Gonna look underneath the tower. Double lift.
Around the mid lane, TSM do have advantage here in the brush.
Death sentence comes down. Xerxes still no access to his ultimate. Dash over the wall for Svenskeren. Exile forced to distort backwards. It's going to be Hilly going down, and Bjergsen gets his first kill of the game.
And these are the kind of mistakes
The fog of war for a very long time. They have to respect his roam at the same time as his lane pressure, because he has counter-ganked them many times by mid.
Well, 2 chains into infinite duress. Flash forward, Xerxes kills Bjergsen.
I was just about to say, we need to see something from Xerxes here with
Unicorns after their bottom lane got first blood, and they were pushing up, that they had a lot, but TSM have retaken it.
All right, quickness comes out. Death sentence actually interrupts Hylissang. Svenskeren's going to jump in, and with the help of double, have pick up an easy kill for TSM.
And not only river vision of Biofrost, constantly out of vision, going to keep them playing safe. Turret almost even going down here, but Unicorn's teleporting in.
All right, Exile's going to find the charm. That's a two-man knock up, the quickness to follow. Bjergsen's already out of the fight. Doublelift fires down the arrow, catches onto Hilly as Chachi's TP kills Doublelift.
Good pick for Unicorns. They
Late game. I like the engage from Unicorns of Love. Sadly for them, they only got that one kill, but they got tower at least, and now someone's fighting.
Dicking around, and Hornser kills Exile. There's the teleport you talked about as Bjergsen. Rift walks into the river. Defensive flash from Samux already. Hilly's going to try dash to safety. Four-man stack. Gets the knock-up in, gets the flight back out. Hilly and Bum, no flash for Doublelift. Looking for the knock-up. Manages to find it. Unicorns kill Doublelift.
Nice little waiting game there for the Unicorns of Love. Doublelift definitely expecting him back in base. Svenskeren, I don't think he can do this.
No, but he's got Bifrost there and, you know, multiple escapes possible. But Rift Herald going to go down. Probably top turret can go down. Unicorns of Love pressing this mid game just as they need to.
What was that term? Thanks for the leash. As Unicorns of Love pick up the Rift Herald. They've got one tower to their name. The second will fall. And this will...
Oh, we're back in it.
We are indeed, and Bjergsen's already dead. Hornser's thrown down the barrel to try and buy some time, as Samux was the one that got that credit. Svenskeren's running for his life, and TSM disengage.
Oh, not going to be able to do so.
No, they're not. Infinite Duress comes out. The knock-up is flashed away from Bio.
I think TSM are actually getting too lax. Yesterday on the desk, I said, the one thing you don't want to do against Unicorns in the mid-game, send your AD carry to split push on the side waves, because that's why charging mid works for them.
Another flash use, so it's Biofrost and Doublelift. The gnaw backwards into the Blade Caller route. It's a kill for Exile. The Rift Herald slams down the mid-inner turret, and the Unicorns have a gold lead as we approach 20. A little bit of armor, and Xerxes, as it stands, he's now going to look for the dragon. Okay, Doublelift's a target, no flash, remember. There's a Chachi was able to bait that earlier.
Yeah, now TSM just falling apart because there's someone. Meanwhile, mid lane fights.
All right, Lantern to safety once again. Looking at the itemization really quickly, by the way. 2 items on the way for Exile as he gets chunked down by the Lichbane fully stacked rower of Bjergsen. Ash Arrow caught the Mimic. I think that was the ultimate of LeBlanc, is now Svenskeren. He's looking for Samux. Samux with the Featherstorm, forced to flash to safety. A great gnaw! Buys enough time for Samux to escape. Hornser's barrel was better! Svenskeren gets the first kill, followed quickly by Doublelift. Bjergsen, another for Svenskeren. TSM, ace, Unicorn!
Clean ace, and that's going to be buried. TSM looking to put North America on the top.
Hornser, the hero, manages to bounce Unicorns away. And the Unicorns of Love lose Baron, lose control, and they're in a game where their opponents scale. That might lose them the game.
All that hard work here.
Total 10 kills in their 2 previous games. They get one more, they will equal it. Unfortunately, though, it ain't going to be very difficult. That's a good stun to Doublelift. He's able to QSS his way to safety. Infinite Duress comes out. It's a fight on 2 fronts. Hornser's down on the side of TSM, but the 4-man stack is flying forward. TSM have lost a second. Svenskeren's out. Samux is still relatively untouched. Now he's getting hammered down. Blade Caller comes out as Bjergsen. Rift walks to safety. Xerxes gets caught by the death sentence. Buys a couple times. Samux gets the kill, though, and Bio's going to be the next target. Hilly will have his cooldowns available soon as Bjergsen waits in the wings. He stood right on top of a ward, though, and forced to run away. Teleport coming out from Exile into the mid lane.
Yeah, not only the ward, but blood scent. You can't hide from that. Xerxes on the trail.
Oh, and Atlanta, no, just takes the gate.
Gonna look for an engage, decides
Cheeky.
to bounce
Goes
away.
Back to distortion, but a little bit early means there will be no engage. He's Mega.
Mega Gnaw manages to connect Svenskeren against the wall. The Lantern's taken by Hornser. Svenskeren's out the fight, but there's damage onto Bjergsen. He goes golden with the Hourglass. Samux puts down the Featherstorm into nothing. TSM have already disengaged. Nobody's died yet.
Doublelift is actually playing it so well. He hits the arrow too.
Exile was stunned up for a few seconds. Up on the front line, all of a sudden Xerxes getting more than 48 damage this time round. They trade mid laner for support. Bjergsen stays alive. Gets away. TSM are winning this fight.
Unicorns almost managed to chain CC the Kassadin, but he got the Hourglass off. Samux still alive.
He is indeed. Look at the damage coming down from Doublelift, though, as Samux gets shut down by TSM.
And suddenly you lose that fight. It's the same thing. You look at it.
And with the Zonias, he takes a bunch of the aggression. Svenskeren as well on the opposite side had to jump out, and Doublelift he keeps up his DPS, working around.
Masters World Final. and it was the last time they got a 3-0 as well. They're on the verge of doing it again against Europe. However, Samux has something to say about it before Hylissang gets shut down. Featherstorm goes out, and despite losing a member early, TSM are putting it back on UOL. Xerxes running for his life as Bjergsen uses the hourglass under the tower. Death sentence onto Samux may sentence UOL to death. Exile gets one back before being shut down himself, and TSM have long death timers to work with.
They've got 3 members here with only Samux standing in their way. 2 Nexus turrets to go down.
The Nexus turrets are falling. First is the victim. Baron-empowered minions. They've got to deal with Samux. The death sentence might just be it. Yes, it is. Double lift secures the ace as the Nexus turrets slowly take it
Hill
down.
is now up. They've got another challenger to approach, but it's just the support.
Yeah, there's too many minions. There's too much damage. And on this day, your Rift rival champions, TSM, declare NA greater than EU.
Questions there, and I'm going to ask a couple of those to my guests here as well, as I'm joined by Andrew, Vedius Day, and 2 of the Rift Rivals champions, Biofrost and Doublelift. That means we talked to almost everybody on the team, or we're going to talk to you guys. I just heard from your teammates, obviously, must be a great victory, but Biofrost, I want to go to you first. A first big victory for you also here at Rift Rivals with TSM. What does it mean to you to make it work in the end?
Well, it's my first ever win in a tournament other than NALCS, so it doesn't mean a lot. It's an international tournament, even though it's only against Europe. So it is good for TSM and I guess NA as a region as a whole, because I don't really remember the last time North America has won any international competition, so this is good.
Well, this is great. Obviously, Doublelift, same thing for you. You have got a ton of titles under your belt already, but this one, even though it is not an MSI or World Championship, it is international competition, and you guys aced the final.
Yeah, for sure. I think for me personally, it means a lot because I'm coming back off of a split where I didn't have a lot of confidence. You know, solo queue made me a shitty player, and then the other thing was, I feel like people, they think of me and they think of like that I choked at last year's Worlds and that I play badly at international competitions, where I don't really feel that way. And so I think this was like a really big statement tournament for me, that I can compete with like the highest level, even though it's just EU, like Biofrost said. So I feel really good, obviously.
Can we stop saying just EU?
I mean, the only competition here was EU.
I'm not sorry to say EU. Yeah,
no, I understand what you mean.
Vedius,
it's just a bit of banter, of course. Like, I am just pulling this.
I mean,
you are a respect. Like, you had no other opponents. EU were your only opposition in this.
Yeah,
that's what he meant.
You guys have a funny analyst
I
desk,
think
by the way.
Vedius is
There's
a
no
bit.
desk.
No, there isn't.
Yeah.
I think Vedius is just a bit upset that obviously EU did not do a lot in this tournament.
Like, NA is definitely greater than EU.
Yes.
Roman is going to have to turn his arrow around on his chest now, because TSM were able to break the curse and they were able to redeem their record against the Unicorns.
Definitely. And Doublelift, I just want to talk a bit more about your answer there, because you have spoken to your confidence level maybe not being on par in the beginning of summer, and there was this huge spotlight on TSM with you coming back. Well, Doublelift's back. Now, obviously, everything's going to go perfect. So are you happy that, you know, you're taking the steps in the right direction, obviously, with this result? Is that helping the idea that things are going well?
Yeah, the expectations on TSM are always extremely high. And then, you know, for me, there was this extra spotlight because I was coming back. And I don't know, the game is such a team game now that I can play champions like Ashe, and like I can look really good as long as I hit arrows, which previously, like, that was really not the case. Like, AD carry is a lot more team-centric role right now. And I'm not gonna lie, like, I got carried pretty hard a lot of games by like Bjergsen and everyone on the team, honestly. Our team play was just insane.
I mean, your arrows were on point. Biofrost, your performance was also on point. How does that kind of reflect on you or influence you, the fact that this guy has to be the star and also carry a lot in that team as well with the rest, and you guys have to perform? Is that heavy on your shoulders as well?
I think having the stress of being able to perform at every match is really good. It can also be a double-edged sword, because if you don't manage stress well, then it can be really like a fast downhill where, you know, you lose one game and the community really hates you for it, and then you like just kind of chill and you play a lot worse for the next couple of games. But if you can manage that and be able to receive community criticism in like a healthy manner, then it can be really beneficial as well. So I think it's both good and bad.
Yeah, I think you guys should read a lot of Reddit and Twitter now after these matches because you absolutely deserve it. Vedius, we got to turn that around, obviously, for the European teams. This was an absolute wake-up call that you said, well, it's not really underperforming when your style just gets exposed and obviously wasn't up to par. So where did they go from here?
Well, the European teams, I think, have come to realize that their strategies, their playstyles are not as effective if they want to try and succeed at international competition. And I think it's really important to identify that, like, the European teams came in exactly as expected. Like, their styles were exactly the same. The players performed at the level that we expected. And NA just really came in and were really a cut above. Like, I thought TSM was very impressive. Phoenix One were really impressive. And, like, they just completely demolished Europe. And I think that moving forward, like, Europe just need to expand their styles. And I think the biggest thing is, like, getting a better understanding of how to build your early game
I'm going to
leads.
challenge you a bit on the every player coming in and playing as we expected, because we did, and you as well, had high hopes for a Caps if he would break or make it on this stage. We had players that had done well. So I feel like some of them really underperformed as well, because it's kind of easy to say, well, they all did bad, but what exactly went bad? Was it individual? Was it in lane that they got outplayed? Was it obviously the objective game?
Well, I think one of the first issues that European teams had, specifically for UOL and Fnatic, is they were very restricted in their champion pools. They were very limited, and I think the best example of that is the TSM versus Fnatic game, where the draft was pretty much perfect from the side of TSM, right? Like, I don't know if you guys knew exactly what they were going to pick every single time, but it felt like that they had an answer to everything. And the fact that Fnatic allowed the enemy team to have a champion like Caitlyn, like, that speaks to it. But also, with Caps specifically, I think one of the reasons why I didn't put him in my OP5 was simply because of experience. This was his first international event. This was the first time that he was going up against top-tier talent in the forms of Bjergsen, Jensen, and Ryu, who are all very experienced and talented individuals. So I think that he should come away with a valuable lesson in what it's like to play against other top teams in other regions, but also, like, how you just playing your style is not always going to be good enough.
If we look at all the teams, Doublelift and Biofrost, obviously we can say EU teams failed as a whole, but if you look at all three of them, which one do you see a lot of promise or can bounce back, or can they all bounce back, and what are the next steps you guys think?
I think they're all actually pretty good. Playing against each team, I can definitely feel a certain style. I think Fnatic, their bot lane needs to play meta champs, and also with regards to Caps, I think he just didn't understand that it's a really heavy engaged meta, and you can't not run cleanse versus like heavy CC comps. You can't just basically pick bad summoners or pick bad champions. Like, if you're playing Orianna, there was one game where he was just like feeding, straight feeding, and it was like he's playing Ori versus LeBlanc and I think Gragas, and he just disrespected Jensen so many times. And as soon as you fall behind once mid lane, you're going to continuously fall behind unless your team gives you vision. So I think it was just like more of a game understanding thing than just saying like, oh, Caps was bad, or like Caps is bad, his playstyle isn't going to work. He probably just didn't know that that could happen to him. And then UOL is obviously pretty good. They're definitely better than I expected coming in. And then who's the last team?
G2.
Oh yeah, G2. I mean G2. You can always count on G2. I don't know. I think they're gonna make worlds. They're fine.
All right, Biofrost. On the topic of G2, obviously our three-time champions here in EU, who we were looking at so much. How do you think they can improve, and what do you think went wrong for them mainly here?
G2, I think for the most part, they have like pretty sporadic performances in the sense that, you know, sometimes they show up really well, and then that was at MSI, and then other times they kind of fall short. And I think we can rely on them to bounce back because they have like really strong players and their fundamentals are really good. And if the meta is suited for them or they have a really good understanding of that patch, they can be really, really strong.
Yeah, that's kind of my remark to that too, though, because we've talked to them obviously a couple of times, and a couple of weeks ago they said we don't have a good grasp on the meta yet, but in a couple of weeks, and then definitely in preparation for a tournament like this, it doesn't seem like it's something that you should be surprised by. So I don't really understand that. Do you guys have any pointers to why that could be?
I think part of that could be just like for the players, certain champion picks might not suit their playstyle, as well as like there's a certain type of playstyle that, you know, it might be around mid or it might be around bot lane, and some teams like G2 might not be very experienced with that, and that could be the reason. But being able to play like a variety of playstyles is important, I think.
All right. That is.
But just to add to that, I think that communication is one of the big things that I see as an issue for G2 right now, simply because back when they were like extremely formidable and really terrifying was when Trick and Perks, like this unstoppable duo of like mid jungle where we were playing a huge amount around our mid lane superstar and we were getting a huge amount of investment into him. And when you look at a lot of the success from the North American teams, a lot of that is similar, right? Like Contracts and Jensen, the fact that Svenskeren invests time for Bjergsen, right? Like that kind of playstyle is effective because it nets you an early lead, and then all you have to do is have the experience to know how to close out the game. And I think the biggest issue for European teams right now is that here in Europe, we're too used to being too passive in the early game. We trade a few kills here and there, we have a few skirmishes, but the game really starts for us at about the 20-minute mark. Whereas I feel like the North American teams, they're so used to fighting more and they're used to being more proactive because they have to be, that they suddenly get these big early leads and the European teams struggle to find ways back.
Double for us, it was quite interesting to see, to look across all the teams. For instance, C9, not the best or a phenomenal early game team, but then here they did better. You guys had a phenomenal early game. You snowballed so cleanly. Is that kind of, you feel like, what tipped things over the edge for this tournament, that you guys know how to do that?
I think for me and Bio, we're super good in lane, and so we just try to use our lane advantage and matchup knowledge to snowball that into like more roams or better vision around bot. And then, you know, Bjergsen's the best mid in the West, so he's obviously going to win his lane. And Haunter, I mean, he usually, he either gets cheese level 1 and dies, or he'll win his lane. So I think, yeah, we have super strong laners, and that's not has very little to do with our team's playstyle, but we do try to play like smart, I think. And part of playing smart is knowing when to play aggressive. So when we get a lead, we try to turn that 1K gold lead into a 2K and so on.
That was crazy. In the first game, you guys had an 8,000 gold lead at 20 minutes, which is insanity because every player was stepping up. We did have to pick a Rift Rivals MVP for the finals at least, and that was Svenskeren, our finals MVP. It was a very difficult decision. I think that was your pick, but we had Azale and Jad having a Bifrost, a double lift in there as well. Obviously, Bjergsen and Haunter are always in the mix, but I can see how it...
It's really tough, right? But just in that final series in particular, I thought Svenskeren had the largest impact in being able to facilitate a lot of the early leads.
Baron.
The way in which he, I mean, like, he did almost give away a Baron, but he did also make up for it by getting the Baron as well. So I think that overall, like, he's had a really impactful tournament. He's been really impressive. And you heard him in the interview with Dracos where he said, like, for him, this is also a great opportunity for him to prove that he's not just a one-trick, right?
That's what giggling about.
I mean, Sven never wins his 50 spites, so when he got the Baron steal, I was just like, am I like awake right now? Like, somebody wake me up, please.
Oh, a bit trash talk even to the own teammate. In like the system that is TSM, we know that Sven had a bit of on-off performances the last couple of months. Is it important that he is absolutely on par to make everything kind of tick in the right way?
Yeah, I mean, jungle is definitely the spear of the team. You know, wherever the jungle goes, the team plays aggressively. And Dennis, I think he just needs like a lot of information from his lanes, just like every jungler does. And I don't know, we work really hard together to play as a unit because we're not all going to have good games, and sometimes our jungler or one of our laners is going to fall behind. So we just try our best to, you know, just make sure we always play as a unit. Yeah,
you guys seemed all on the same page. Bifrost also some great engages and disengages when UOL tried to engage. Did you feel like you had a big part in snowballing all these leads for TSM in this tournament?
Not really.
You're a really good Braum, dude. Like,
okay, thank you. I just think Braum is a really good champion to disengage. His kit just makes him really useful for that. So if I'm doing that, then that means I'm doing my job. I don't think of it as, you know, I'm outperforming or anything. It's just I'm doing what the champion's required to do.
Bio Daddy's just being humble, dude. This guy carries me so hard sometimes.
No.
We'll settle on that. I think you all had a really good series. So the big question is what's next? Because we talked about EU. Obviously, wake-up call in some sense, a good thing that they all had the wake-up call now. But Worlds is just around the corner. So if you turn this around for the NA side of things, the question is, you got to keep this going now because now the expectation is there and you know that you can win all these games. So how do you make sure that you don't fall off in the time between now and Worlds and finally get those results, Peter?
Well, when you play an international tournament, there's a lot of rubber banding. So when EU probably is going to play in the next few weeks, they're going to try to incorporate some new things that they learned from this that without this tournament they wouldn't have been able to learn. And so I think they're going to catch up pretty quickly. It's not like EU is a bad region. And for NA, I think, especially for us, when we go to the next international tournament, we just want to make sure that we still put in that same level of, I guess, effort and determination to be the best. And hopefully we can, you know, even up our level one more time for Worlds.
I'm curious as to whether or not, do you feel that you as a team, especially given your dominance, will you take a huge amount away from this tournament? Do you think you've learned some things? Like, I know you played against some interesting champions like Warwick and the Hecarim. I'm not saying you're going to integrate them, but do you feel you've learned something you can bring to your own playstyle from this?
Me personally, yeah, for sure. Every tournament I play at, I think I take away a lot. And just the level of stress. If NALCS is like a 2 out of 10, this is like a 7 or an 8. And Worlds is obviously a 10. So I think this is great practice for us. And it's a great experience that other NA teams aren't going to be able to have.
Yeah, Bifrost, anything you took away specifically?
I think playing against other bot lanes is really important because you get exposed to a lot of different play styles. You know, with Fnatic, they liked ganking bot a lot, and I think also the other bot lanes also had a really big focus around bot lane, and they're really good at executing ganks with their junglers. So we always had to be careful about, you know, when could they gank and where should we ward so that we know when the gank is coming. So I learned all of those things.
Besides of the victory, taking a lot back to NA with you guys, because I'm pretty curious to see what's going to happen now in NA. CLG is still a top-ranked team. IMT has had some really good showings. C9's been good. Phoenix 1 is all of a sudden top there. So how do you think that's going to evolve in her back? Are we going to see Phoenix 1, for instance, in the playoffs? What do you think of a contender of them now, Bifrost?
I think overall the NA teams look a lot better. I think after this tournament, you know, people are going to be like, okay, NA, you know, we're actually a good region. We're not as bad as everyone thinks. And with all the teams like P1, IMT, CLG, C9, everyone looks really strong and they all have their different play styles. So it's going to require every team to work so much harder to be able to do well in playoffs and contest for the championship.
Double
I think it's CLG, C9, TSM, top 3. Easy.
Right.
Not in that order.
Not in that order necessarily. Yeah, Svenskeren was saying, well, it's going to be TSM, but
obviously.
Well, we saw a bunch of interesting competition, a bunch of big plays, and with the dust settled after 4 days of games, it is time to take a look at those big plays. Brought to you by Acer. First up, TSM's mid laner, he pulled his weight this week, and at Sir Potato, he tweeted, Bjergsen is pretty decent at League of Legends.
Knock down the turret. Well, Bjergsen is covering here on the top side.
How about they going to look for him right now, see if they can take him down. He's rooted and stopped up. Featherstorm, he pushes him back. An auto attack was all he needed, but Bjergsen turns it around.
Also fitting that it was TSM versus UOL, but that was a really nice one. And you wanted to highlight some other plays from Shinra, I believe,
yeah, because
well.
also the
Cassiopeia.
super tense moment between G2 and TSM where it was like 40, 50-minute game, and then he gets that clutch flash ultimate onto Perks, which effectively wins in the game too. Like, he had a lot of good plays this game. He is indeed a pretty good mid laner.
Nice you mentioned G2 also have. We had other teams in the tournament, although they didn't really get a lot of wins in the end, but they did get some big plays, and Fnatic's top laner is known for his great escapes and showed some magic as Jarvan versus Phoenix 1 at Benkos 1302 asked the perfect question, is it really Soaz without a clutch escape?
Low amount of damage, and the fact that they had the pressure in the bottom lane with which to make that gank happen.
Well, it feels like it's happening.
Oh, man.
Soaz a little bit late on the flash. The barrel comes out. Look at the escape. Soaz, you beauty.
Yeah, even if Fnatic doesn't perform that well, Soaz is always doing these crazy things. He's been around for a really long time as well, so it's kind of impressive. Maybe as long as double lift almost.
Yeah, I think similar. Wait, yeah, he was playing Season 1, right?
Yeah, he was.
Same as me.
Yeah.
Is it really Soaz if he doesn't rage quit a game?
Oh, moving on to the next one. The Unicorns of Love's visit Chachi found success with his signature. Prehistoric Yordle turning around a huge fight versus Cloud9. Let's take a look.
Now they just run it down mid. Now they're looking to keep the action going. But the Chachi in trouble, could get picked off. Does go Mega, does try to turn this one back, uses the Gargoyle Stoneblade. But that's the ult! Baited! Outsmarted! Unicorns of Love!
That was close.
I love how chill he is after that. Well, Chachi, obviously, he still had a good tournament, despite Unicorns of Love not doing much in the finals. I feel like you guys also really felt it and tried to shut him down a bit. What did you make of his performance during the finals?
He's pretty nuts. I mean, I think even Hotster was telling me that he thinks Vizzy Chachi is the best EU top laner at this tournament by far. And yeah, I mean, that guy is super good. His Gnar is insane.
His Gnar is insane. Vedi, in the end, the Unicorns of Love, what can they take away? They have these big plays. They have growth that they can show through the group stage. Just an unfortunate final for them.
I just think that they need to adapt their draft pretty significantly. Like, the big thing for me is, like, Xerxes has been very well known for picking those scaling junglers, and I want to see him, like, try and invest stuff into Exile. Let's see what happens if you can snowball this mid lane, who I do think has talent. It's just very much right now that it's a lot more focused on, like, the top lane and the bot side of the map.
that it is. Not a lot of days, though, for our teams to recoup. For you guys, neither. It's back to NA and back to the NA and EU LCS because we return next week already when we start with the second half of the summer split or continue. Be sure to follow us there as the teams continue their march down the road to Worlds. I can almost not read it. We have Rocka versus H2K, NIP versus Vitality, and CLG versus FlyQuest, and IMT versus Fox. So you guys at least get a little time to get back into the habit. Do you think it's going to affect you a lot, the fact that you have to fly back now and just keep going, actually show that you're the best?
Yeah, traveling's not super fun. I just hope we don't lose randomly, like go 0-2. That would be like a really anticlimactic end to this win. But
it would be forgiven to you guys.
Yeah, exactly. We got an excuse now.
And Phoenix once said that on the flight here is where they felt like they really leveled up. So maybe ask them, you know, what happened exactly and how you guys could just use the time to...
Maybe they were just watching like the same movie on the plane or something.
Yeah, maybe they're completely in sync. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us. Congratulations. Fantastic victory for TSM. Thank you, Vedi, as well, for joining me as always. And thank you guys for watching. That will do it from us here at Rift Rivals 2017. We will be back for more LCS action next week. Have a great night.
North America is leading the fan vote at the moment, and they're leading the expectation as we load up for Rift Rivals Finals.
Top side, and a lot of praise to TSM in the early vision.
All right, Rune Prison comes out. Trigger Seed flashed away from. Not done yet. Bjergsen gives up first blood to Exile. Now Svenskeren gets the first. Shuts down Hylissang. That's a double. Looking for the triple as Samix uses the Featherstorm for time. Exile tastes their fear. Xerxes runs for his life. TSM diving under the tower. Ace the Unicorns. Finds Samix. Devour buys a few seconds of time for Vizicachi to arrive. First blood is available, picked up by Svenskeren. Hornser rather, makes it a double kill. The attack in the distance not enough. Exile's on a rampage. He hits Bio with a big one. Death sentence comes out, but there's no tower to run to.
No. Stole the base. Oh my god. Dragon's in a minute.
He goes in. Team Solomid steal the Baron. Oh my god. Got a package. Gonna need that one to escape.
Oh, wrong way.
Does it the opposite direction.
Wait, I clicked on... Oh my god, maybe I clicked on the map.
Team Solomid go 2-0 up in the Rift Rivals Finals. Engage goes in, Biofrost is caught out, flashes may be needed, already used, somebody heal, first blood picked up by Hylissang.
Let's play for Herald top side.
Oh, they're on me top. Holy shit.
I'm ready.
I'm dead.
Okay.
Another flash use, so it's Biofrost and double if the gnaw backwards into the Blade Caller route. It's a kill for Exile, a great gnaw, buys enough time for Samix to escape. Hornster's barrel was better. Svenskeren gets the first kill, followed quickly by double if Bjergsen, another for Svenskeren. TSM, Ace, Unicorns. This time round, they trade mid laner for support. Bjergsen stays alive, gets away. TSM are winning this fight. This day, your Rift Rival champions, TSM declare NA greater than EU.